Greetings, gang. It's a second video for today and a second lighthearted video, so far so good. But I figure I'll kill two birds with one stone. After reading the comments on this morning's video, a ton of you guys were asking me how I store potatoes, and I'll can some of them, we'll keep some of them fresh, but in a lot of the answers, I linked the video I made, 4 or 5 months ago about how to make a homemade root cellar, okay? Cheap, all right, which kind of works for all of us. But, so we have another harvest, but this one isn't mine. This is friends of mine up the mountain that I told you about, and so maybe they'll see this video, maybe they don't, but I'm going to make, what I'm going to do here is kind of going to be for them and for us. But y'all are always asking, what do we do with all these vegetables we raise? Well, friends up top of the hill are having a lot better luck with zucchini than I am. And they had planted about 10 plants. They're harvesting every other day. That's what they're getting. Look at the size of these things. I mean, there's my hand. These things are enormous. I mean, that is 6 inches around. I mean, this one, for example, that one's 14 inches long. There it is, So the big question comes, how do you store zucchini? Zucchini will rot. So, even if you can it, I'm not a big fan of boiled zucchini, all right? And, Mrs. P makes it into a very good vegetable soup, stew, kind of in between. That's really good. I've mentioned oladyi before, which is basically potato pancakes made out of zucchini. That's a Russian meal. She made that, and those are delicious. I love those things, okay? But by far and away, my favorite way to make, or to store zucchini is to make zucchini bread. And I have a rather unique recipe, so I wanted to share it with you. So I figured I'll kill two birds with one stone here. Y'all wanted to see how we preserve some of this stuff, and you wanted a cooking video. Sorry you get me for the cooking video, because believe it or not, this guy actually does know how to cook. So, I didn't get this nice Santa Claus belly here by just Mrs. P. I brought that with me to the marriage. So, let me move over and I will show you. This is all stuff that you should have in your preps. If you don't, this is all stuff that you need to have in your preps. And we're going to do this all manually. No power tools, no nothing. I mean, obviously we're going to use an oven. But no blenders, mixers, anything like this. This is all done by hand, pretty simple. So let me move over. I'll set this up and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so for this, you will need vegetable oil, sugar, flour, salt, baking powder, baking soda, 2 eggs, vanilla, cinnamon. I saved us some time. I already shredded up the zucchini. I didn't figure you needed to watch me shred a couple of zucchini up. But, to give you that bowl, what I need for this is 2 of these little ones, okay? So you can imagine how much zucchini bread I can make out of all the zucchini. Which means chances are I'm probably going to be baking a lot today. And then the secret weapon is some crushed walnuts. So let me get around to the other side of the counter and I will show you how this all goes together. It's real simple. Okay, so damn, I'm tall, right? I got to be on my knees at the kitchen counter to do this. So first thing, real simple, 2 eggs. And half a cup of sugar. Whoops, that's the flour. I don't want to do that. Half a cup of sugar. That's what I'm going to do. Now to mix all this up. Handy dandy whisk. Like I said, no power on this one. We're doing this by hand because that's the way we've got to be ready to do stuff in an SHTF event, correct? All right. So mix all this real good until the sugar's pretty much dissolved. care of that part. Okay, so next thing we're going to add is cinnamon. Okay, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And here's 1. And there's 2. Okay. And about a half a cup of vegetable oil. And that should cover it right about there. All right, and again, mix nicely, and at this point, because of the cinnamon, it's going to look like chocolate pudding. Get all that sugar in there, because that's melted up. So we now have what looks like chocolate pudding. All right. 1.5 cups of flour. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Doesn't have to be. If you want to spend the money on the real stuff, this is fine. Imitation vanilla works fine. Okay, so get that in. And gee, guess what's next? Mix it all together. Now, this is gonna take a second here. So I will be back in a moment. All right, so now it's all in there. It's got the consistency of wallpaper paste. And I know if you're making this, you're gonna go, how the hell is that gonna work? And I'll show you real quick. This is where the zucchini comes in. About 2 cups of zucchini. Okay, we're gonna dump all that in. Then we're also going to put a teaspoon of baking soda and a half teaspoon of baking powder. We're also going to throw in about a half a teaspoon of salt. Okay? And I'm a guy, so I guesstimate a lot. But the key is what was wallpaper paste a second ago. Once you mix in all this zucchini, it's going to thin out very well because the zucchini is primarily a lot of water. And so now, as I mix all this together, now what I have is a good batter, and you can see it slide down the bowl. So, next step, baking dish. Cake pan, whatever you want to call it, bread, loaf pan. Hard to do it backwards, but we'll get there. Okay. And so now I have a loaf pan full of batter. 350, 40 minutes, and I will show you what I got in a bit, but I'm gonna make a second one so I can throw 2 in the oven at the same time. Okay, so I forgot on the first one, but I went back and corrected it. Forgot about the secret ingredient, the walnuts. So you're adding 1/4 cup or so of walnuts to the whole thing. Mix that all in, obviously. And now, we will do this again. Stone. And again, pour it into another cake pan. Now, they can both go in the oven. But I hope the guys are paying attention to this, because y'all need to learn how to cook this stuff too, because it ain't just a woman's work, okay? It's SHTF. We all do everything, all right? So, skill to get. Learn some recipes that you know how to cook, and improve them, make them the best you can, and trust me, she'll appreciate every once in a while too when you say, hey honey, don't worry, let me cook. So, but yeah guys, we need to pick up the ball on this one. So, all right, I will see you in about 45 minutes, but these two got to go in the oven, like I said, 350 for 40 minutes. And there you go, 45 minutes in the oven. And we've got a couple of nice zucchini breads. Take those out, and nice and warm with some butter on it. Awesome. Nice part about this is you can freeze them, wrap them up some aluminum foil, throw them in a plastic bag, stick them in the freezer, and they'll be good for 6 months. So enjoy, guys. Pinball out.